Hello, it's Thursday, Valentine's Day, was that February 14th? I've made a couple of videos after the first one I did, but I wasn't happy with them, so I'm having another go. I'm not quite sure how I need to be with the podcasts. So, excuse me if I'm a bit sort of a waffle. What I wanted to say was that I am on the project of Lester's, my partner's, he's my husband, but I prefer the word partner. I think partner's a nicer word for him. If I say husband, I feel I have expectations of him. I feel that he ought to be this. I'm more critical of him as a person. I think he needs to be doing that. I think he needs to be doing that. Why are you not? You know, in my head, I have a kind of this funny sort of resentfulness. Not that he's in my life, but I suppose it's like a cat having a scratching post. So when I'm fed up, he's there so I can I've got somebody I can have a go at, which is completely unfair of me. So in order not to be like that, which is I feel is only human nature, we always need someone to take something out on if we're upset. We won't say to ourselves, oh, that's my fault. It's easier to blame somebody else, don't you think? Anyway, partner feels better. Partner says that he's beside me in my life, and therefore he's not perfect and I'm not perfect, and I own my bits of not being very happy and nice, you know, those down times when you're not your happy self. I've got a lot of washing up to do in my case. Oh, when things get on top of you, you know. So he's my partner. I feel so comfortable. I feel so privileged to have him walking beside me in life. And our relationship is much better because I look upon him as my partner. My husband feels like I've got ownership of him somehow. Might just be me, but that's what I think anyway. So, Lester's jacket, I am on it. The table's more cluttered up than it was when I last spoke to you. The reason being that the chicks have hatched, and they were by the doors, but it was all glass doors by the entrance of the half barn. But it's got very cold overnight here, so it's -7 because we're by the river, and it gets and in a sort of valley you've got so the water tends to make it colder. We've had very, very heavy frost anyway. The chicks were by the door and they were kind of suffering a little bit, not a lot. They've got a lamp on them to keep them warm, but they really were being held back by it not being as warm as it ought to be. So we shifted urgently, had to shift their living accommodation to halfway up the barn by the radiator. And in that place was some neatly stacked boxes of fabric. And of course they got all chucked on the table. So the table did have little bits of space in it, and now it doesn't. What I'm going to have to do to get a move on with the cutting up of Lester's jacket, because it is my first project and I am going to stick to it. I'm not going to give up on it, because I said I would do it and I'm going to do it. So I'm just going to put everything on the floor. I'm just going to take everything off the table and put it in the floor in a heap. The reason why there's so many heaps with the fabric is because you sort it out. When I've been looking for bits of fabric, you sort it out, and because you don't fold it up afterwards and put it back neatly, you just get a move on with your next thing you're going to do. So it gets left, and because then it gets bigger and bigger, the heaps get bigger and bigger, which is what has happened. I forgot that I had to wash the fabric before I could cut it up for Lester's jacket. So yesterday I put the winceyette lining in the washing machine. So that's washed and is now on the drying rack over the Rayburn stove in the kitchen. I tried to put the fleece in the washing machine, but 3 metres of 60 wide fleece, it won't go in this. It's too bulky for my machine. So I'm going to have to take pot luck. I have to risk whether that will shrink or not. I don't think it will, but it's the jacket does come up on the big side anyway. So hopefully, fingers crossed, that it won't shrink, because I won't be able to wash that. I was going to cut it up in half. Sometimes if I've got a lot of fabric, like kerning fabric to do, I will cut it up into the lengths I'll need and then wash it. But I don't think it's going to work if I can't do that, because I might cut the fleece and cut it where I shouldn't cut it, like halfway through the sleeve, the length of the sleeve, when Anyway, I found the pattern, and it's this one. It's an old one. It's a McCall's pattern. I haven't got the pattern out yet, but there doesn't seem a lot of it. So I'm hoping, you know, I feel that there should be bulkier patterning pieces in there, or maybe I folded these pieces up properly. Maybe that's what I did. Anyway, hopefully all the pieces are there. See there. It's a two-tone jacket, but this time I only got him the one colour of fabric of fleece rather than 2 colours, because I thought I had some of the other colours left from the last jacket, the fleece pieces from the last jacket, left over, but I can't find them. So I don't know where they are. I don't think I've used them up, or maybe there wasn't that much left over, or maybe I've used it for a dog blanket or something. The jacket is 3 or 4 years old. Anyway, I've got the pattern, so hopefully I've got all the pieces in there. I haven't got the zip. I'm going to make him a neck zip. Actually, no, I did think about making him toggles, like putting toggle fastenings across, because he often has a zip undone, and it's a miracle really that it hasn't broken, because the way you jack it on and you know, with a zip, it's a bit rough with it, but it's a metal zip. I thought that would look better. It's a brass metal zip. I think it's like a jean zip, and it's quite strong. So it's, anyway, I'm going to put in, but I haven't got a zip, so I've got to send away for that. But at least I'm making a bit of a start on it. So, and I need the table now. I need part of the table. I did take the measurements of the table. Excuse me, I've just had my porridge and it's repeating on me. I do need that table because I was pruning some shrubs yesterday, and I thought, oh, I could be taking cuttings of these while I'm at it, save waste. So not quite sure I'm going to do. It's going to be a bit of a jumble on that table. But it'll get done. Chicks are doing well. There was one little chick that was having a problem. Once he nearly died, or twice he nearly died. They give up, you see, sometimes. So one of the last born chicks, so they're often the weakest. 2 were hatched, 1 died within a matter of hours, bless it. But we leave them with the family of chicks because it's kinder for them to be amongst their the same kind. I think it's cruel to take it away, take a little chick away, or take a little animal away from where its natural species are living. So one chick did pass over. They just slide off, they go sleep, they give up. You can see them giving up. Yeah, they go. But this one, and we've named it nearly died, nearly dead. And we say, how's nearly dead doing? It's a bit macabre, I suppose. But it's a funny little thing. One of his feet aren't quite right, so he's a bit, you know, Lester said yesterday, do you think it's kind to let him carry on? But he's got such spirit. He tries so hard, and you can't terminate a life if the animal is not in pain and is really got the spirit to live. If it sat in a corner and gave up, which it did twice. In fact, we were counting down the hours till when it would pass over the last time. And it would insist on keeping in amongst its fellow chicks. And they kept bouncing on him. They'd use him as a ramp. He'd be like that, like huddled up, thinking, I'm going to die my last, breathe my last. And they would run up and to springboard off him. And then another time, they would stand on him. I called them standing on him like he was a platform, you know. And you think, well, should he not be taken away? But then when we took him away, then he would cheep, because he obviously missed them, his brothers and sisters. I don't know whether they're brothers and sisters because they look like they've come, the eggs have hatched from several different members of our hen flock. So, I don't know. I say brothers and sisters because it's easier. Today he was alright. He was barging his way in for food today. Not for long, because the others barging back because they're 3 times the size of him, but we'll give him life. But if he showed that he was suffering, if he showed that he was not happy, then we would do the honest thing. and let him put him to rest. We do that with the animals. If we see that if his spirit goes, and they do, but we see it with all of our animals. They're fine, and then they start going down, and you try and get them mended again. But if their spirit is not there, they are very accepting of their end time. I've nearly died 3 times. And I've pulled myself back. I suppose when it's my time to go, I also feel that I will say enough. The last time I was in that possible state of passing over, I did feel like it's enough. I'm enough. I know that feeling of it's enough. And it's not a depression. It's an acceptance that this is it. It's enough. And you sort of have a quietness come upon you. But the universe didn't want me to give up, so I'm still here. I got quite ill a couple of years ago. That was sudden, and the universe was not going to let me give up. And in fact, I said when I was in the hospital bed and everything, I said, look, I've had enough. I really have had enough. I'm not going to go into what was happening around me, but it wasn't a good environment. It was a sudden thing which happened, and an English woman in a French hospital, and I lost all my French language and most of my English language because my head was so scrambled with what was happening to me that I just kind of went in a mental muddle. But the universe kept at me. They were not going to let me give up. And I said to the universe, God, if you like, or whatever you call that energy that looks after us, I said, take me over. I've had a practice runs. All I've got to do is to shut my eyes and go to sleep, and that'll be it. I'll be off. But no. That was exactly what was said to me. No. Oh, I wasn't very happy, but I've got things still to do in life, so I know that there's a world beyond ours, because I've worked with that world which is beyond ours and which we go back to. Do I know that there's something beyond us? Yeah, I do. I've not had that awareness all my life, but I've had it since I was middle 30s, when I was woken up, as it were, when things happened in my life which triggered off this awareness. I suppose you could say that I did reach out. I was in a situation which was difficult. We all have difficult times. This was one of my difficult patches. And I remember reaching out to something, don't know what, please help me. And I was. And that opened a doorway. And then I started becoming more and more sensitive to that world beyond us. And as I developed the awareness increasingly over the years, I was able to help people by channeling help from the universe via from my voice, and by healing and as I say, clairvoyance, clairaudience and clairsentience. I won't talk about them now or expand on what them now. If you're interested, you can always post me an email or make a comment on the box below this video. You could also subscribe so that you would then know when I am posting up again, and the little bell icon that's somewhere on there, if you press that, then you'll get notifications if you wanted to. But if you did want to know more about that world beyond us and how I came to the awareness of how it was and what it is, then do please email me or make a comment, it's the same in the box below. I will always answer it. Because as the awareness has grown, as my intuition has grown, as my connection with the universe has grown, then so has my way of having a simplicity about myself. It's brought out the child in me, the child, the love of simple things. I'm not a simpleton, though some may say I am, but I'm not. But I do have a love of life. I don't always though, sometimes I do crash in a heap very nicely. And that is a problem with being sensitive. If you don't stay in balance with yourself, then you can crash in a heap, or in a heap, in a pit really, which is very deep and dark, because you go to completely the reverse of yourself. So while most of the time you feel sunny and happy and connected to the universe, and you feel that everything's right, all your problems are solvable, you are able to love being able to cope and be with your present situation in life. You're able to sail on top of it, as it were. But when you become unconnected, and this is a big problem, the more you get connected to the universe, you go down a hole. So whereas everything's on a plateau and you're sailing along the top, and there's all this life, living life stuff, and all the stuff that goes on in our lives that we need to sail through if we're going to have, if we're going to live our lives and not pass over and not be with any of this lot anymore. So you've got this stuff, you're sailing on the top when you can be in balance, but if you don't be in balance, woof, you're down here, and all this lot sits on top of it. It's quite easy to get on top of everything and sail on top here, but we tend not to make time to do it. I find it hard to meditate. That's why I do crafts. That's why I knit and I crochet, and I always need to have something to do with my hands, and this keeps my head quiet so that the universe the energies of the universe can come through this area, which is the heart, which is where the universe connects, not your head, through here, and keep that in balance, and then I get on top again. If you're interested in any of this, do say, please leave a comment, and I'll do some vids about explaining more about my world as a intuitive. Meanwhile, Leicester's lining is hanging and drying. The body, the fabric, the fleece is in a heap. It's in a heap. It's in a heap because I unravelled it to put it in the washing machine, and then I didn't fold it back up neatly. It just came out all in a pile, so it's now in a big pile. I'm going to take everything off the table and I'm going to dump it on the floor. I have nowhere to put it tidily. If I spend 2 or 3 days tidying everything up, then I'm not going to keep moving on. I know what I'll do. I'll lose interest in the project and go do something else, because there's a skirt I want to do, I want to make. got some pinafores I need to finish off, and I want to make a big gardening pinafore so that the brambles don't keep sticking themselves to me, because they do in my woolens. I've forgotten where I was, but methinks I better go anyway, because I've got a bread on the rise, and I think that'll be overspilling the pot it's in to make it have its first rice. Bread's like that, it's got a life of its own. It goes psh, and then it starts oozing everywhere. I've got a rehearsal this afternoon with a little choir, a small choir, mixed French and English, not many people, only about half a dozen, 7 or 8 if they'll turn up. But I've been asked to play the accordion. Well, a bit of a blip there. The memory card got full up on the camera and cut us off, or cut me off in flow. The rehearsal went well, and I played the accordion all right. French folk songs mostly. They're very pretty, and it was nice. It was good. It's nice to play music, good for the soul. So what I'm back for in this bit was to say bye-bye, really. And I can see in the screen beside me that you've got a good picture of Lester's socks hanging up to dry, because this arbory place is my sitting place for when I can, and for my drying area. I quite like it, really, very cosy. Anyway, I'm going to say bye-bye for now, and we'll try and upload this video tonight. So upload speeds are a little bit slow here, being in the country like we are. But bye-bye for now. I hope you enjoyed the video, and do make comments and things, so I know you're there, and if you've got any questions or anything about my other work and what I've mentioned. And I started a jumper this morning. I have to tell you, I've been starved of knitting and crochet, because I've got projects which are in difficult situations, which means they need my attention, and I've been too busy, both mentally and physically, to spend time sorting the problems out. So I just needed a piece of knitting that I could just pick up and just motor along, and I haven't had any, and I've been noticeably lacking, feeling I've been lacking the calmness of the knitting. I mentioned before that I do use it as a meditative tool, because it does quieten my mind, calm my mind. And anyway, I've just started a jumper. It's a plain one. I'm just going to do it plain. I'm probably going to do some patterning on the top or something, but it was such a relief to sit there. So I get up in the mornings, you see, and I have a quiet time. I light a candle in my music room, come front room, a sitting room. I light a candle, and I try and connect with the universe, or try and be calm enough so that I've got that energy flow. And I knit or crochet something simple, something quite plain, which is going to put things into my mind. What we're trying to do is is to deactivate my mind from all its skippy thoughts, you know, hip hop, it goes from thought to thought to thought to thought. So I've started my knitting. I picked up Lester's fabric and I put it down again, but I did I did touch it. I do know it's there. Anyway, off to the brambles. hope you've got a good day, or hope you've got a nice quiet calmness around you, and speak to you soon. Bye bye.